Did you go over any kind of routine creation or anything like that?
Not yet, but I'd certainly be able to do that. So this one is the live one. I mean, as far as the live, what's currently running, in the routines section, this is where we have, each of the different routines. You might think of these as almost fragments of workflows. You've got, a huge workflow and lots of individual calculate from this date, whatever date field it is. What we're doing, which helps kind of alleviate some of the challenges with having just huge workflows, is saying, well, let's just pick one field, one date field that we might key something off of. And then based off of that, what are the things that we would do? So if we get a new listing date, or key it off of some particular piece there, what would you want to do if we filled in that date? And the automation then is based off of that. So if you have a photography date, these are the things that you would do given a photography date. Now, the advantage of doing this also, you had to watch out for dates that you didn't use. And sometimes you had to set up what we called groups. So you might uncheck something if you didn't need them. Well, you don't need to worry about that anymore, because these will just kick in when you need them. If you don't need them, nothing will happen. In either case, what we're doing is, for any particular area of the database, either contacts, the properties. If you go into a property, you've got the physical property itself. You've got the physical property itself, all the basic information about the property. You've got a section just for listings that are connected to that property, or transactions that are connected to that property. Those are the four main areas that routines are set up on. So once you understand that, then whenever you go into the routines, you can say, well, I want to create a routine for my, and what I might do is just say, I want to create a new routine. I want to create a new routine in my contact, or in my property, or in my listing or transaction database that does something based off of a given date change or something. So, maybe in my contacts, if I'm actually, let's go into a listing. Maybe for the listing goes live date. I'm just grabbing something. What would I want to do if the listing goes live? What things should start kicking in and doing its process? And I can say, go live routine, whatever you want to call this thing. You call it whatever you want. And then you start adding in the individual tasks that you do based off of when something goes live. I do this, I do that, I do the other things. You can, add those in one at a time by clicking on the little plus. Now, recently, we've added the ability to let AI create that for you. But if you have your set processes already, you could explain those processes to AI and let it build it for you based off of that, or you can just go in there and add them individually one at a time and adding in the calculations. Okay, whenever it goes live, 0 days from that go live date, I do this. And it creates an activity in your calendar whenever that activity, whenever that date is provided. It creates a link. It creates that activity in your calendar for this particular routine activity. Each of these activities can have actions, automations that you would want to process for you. So, whenever it goes live, what's one thing that you do whenever you go live? Well, maybe you send a message to the seller saying, hey, we're live. You know, you do that one thing. Maybe that's the only thing you do. That's fine. Maybe you do 10 things. You know, you can specify those things based off of that go live date being set. So maybe we want to come in here and we want to say, well, if we go live, I want to send a message to the seller, maybe I've got a template already. I can select that template. If I see if I've got anything go live. No, I don't have anything right now for go live. I could come up here and click on the little plus to add a new template. And we're going to say go live. So listing go live or whatever. And then we might come over here and let, if you've already got a template, you could paste it in there and do some stuff. Let the seller know that the listing is live.
A lot of the thought with this too is it allows you to focus in on each of these, you know, traditional workflow automations, like Mark was saying. Sometimes they're just these really long lists that we have to kind of think about. And what we found is a lot of agents spend a lot of time, you know, sometimes upwards of several weeks building just a single process. And so the thought of refocusing, hey, I only need to focus on this listing go live. What does that process look like for just this little thing? And then I can move to the next one. And you can use Sam, just like he was doing, to build these automations, allows you to move with a little more speed.
Right. And you don't have to, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? One step at a, you know, one bite at a time. This is the same way. You don't have to build the entire workflow all in one shot. Do these little things that help you every day. And then over time, as you keep adding to these things, your processes build themselves, because now I've got all these things that are just kind of happening for me automatically based off of that. So here's an example, you know, not the greatest of an example, but you know, an example type thing. I'm gonna take that off because I don't have my logos assigned on here, and I should.
What I'm liking is, because this is a whole new way of thinking, so that's what I'm struggling with.
Yeah, it is different.
Now I'm thinking this is kind of cool, because let's say I'm going to start working on a new listing today. I can actually start building those steps as I go through the process. Maybe I have a manual list right here and go, okay, it's today's this day in the process. I'm going to build that step today. And then as I build it out for that listing, it's ready to go for my next listing. Am I thinking right?
Exactly. That's
okay.
Exactly it.